They decided to downsize. I was 9 years old at the time. They had built that house in the early 90s, and it sat on 5 quiet acres on the outskirts of a small southern town. There were woods and open fields all around us, and a muddy river that crawled past our southern fence line. On 2 sides, our property touched our only neighbor's land. That house, our neighbor's, was like a relic from another time, something crooked and unnatural. It looked like it was sinking into the earth. The original structure had been built in the 1920s, and over the years it had been added onto in all the wrong ways, like someone was just stapling rooms together without a plan. The siding on that house always looked wet, even on dry days. The yard was worse. Overgrown bushes, weeds swallowing up fountains and headless gnomes, trash bags fluttering in the trees. A rusted lawnmower had been sitting in the middle of the grass for what looked like years. It was the kind of place that made you hold your breath when you passed it. Living there were 2 elderly sisters, Violet and Agnes, and 3 children. Violet was quiet, always sitting on the porch in a green rocking chair, staring into the trees. Agnes was more active, but even she moved like her bones hated her. The 3 kids were their grandchildren. One boy, Liam, was my age. The 2 girls, Allison and Kelsey, were around the age of my younger sister. Liam was weird. I didn't like him, didn't want to hang out with him, but since we were in the same grade and lived next door, we ended up lumped together. He took that as permission to show up whenever he wanted. No knocking, no texting. He'd just appear. I once looked out my window and saw him doing cannonballs in our pool. Another time, he walked into our kitchen and started eating leftover pizza straight from the fridge. He was obsessed with anime, which I didn't watch, and he'd get mad when I didn't understand his Japanese phrases or laugh at the right moments. He could be scary too. One time, he chased me with garden shears, laughing like it was a game. Another time, I swear he tried to push me into the creek behind our house. He smiled after, like it was the funniest thing in the world. His sisters were different. Quiet, almost invisible. They always looked dirty, like no one cared for them. Their clothes were stained, their hair tangled. They flinched when someone raised their voice. They had speech problems too, still talked like toddlers, even though they were 7. Their dad was never around. And then there was Teresa, the mom. The first time I met her, she was struggling with a hose near the edge of their yard. She was tall, heavier, with big round glasses and curly black hair. She looked different, too clean. Her clothes were ironed, her hair styled. She smiled at me like she'd been waiting for me. "Can you help me with this faucet?" she asked. It moved easily when I turned it. She gasped, clapped her hands, and told me I was so strong. Then she said, "Did you know you have a third eye?" I blinked. "What?" "A spiritual one. It lets you see the truth." Before I could say anything, she walked back toward the house and motioned for me to follow. I did. Inside was a nightmare. The house reeked. Rotting food, mildew, and something worse. Garbage bags were torn open. Dirty diapers stuffed behind the couch, furniture stained. But her room upstairs was the opposite. It was perfect. Pink wallpaper, clean carpet, porcelain dolls on shelves, the smell of rosewater. Like a different world. She told me to sit. Then she pulled out a silver tray, a black candle, a crystal, and a thick book with a pentagram on the cover. My stomach dropped. My parents were Catholic. I knew what that meant. I saw the same symbol carved into the wood under the rug. I ran. By 2019, Agnes died of a heart attack in that house, in front of the kids. I went to her funeral. The family didn't cry, except for one woman I didn't recognize who sobbed so loudly it echoed. That same year, Liam disappeared. My parents said he tried to kill one of the twins and was sent away. I never got full details, but I remember my parents sitting us down and saying never to go near that house again. Eventually the family left, all except Violet. She lived alone in that collapsing house until she passed in 2020. A few months later, a teacher from my old school, Mrs. S., bought the property. They tore down most of the house, but kept the original 1920s section, the same part where Teresa's room had been. She invited us over after renovations. It looked amazing. But upstairs, in what had once been Teresa's room, I felt something. The pentagram was gone, but I knew it was still there underneath. The walls felt like they were watching me. I told her I had a headache and left. Later, she asked me to dog sit. I agreed. The first few nights were peaceful. But on the fifth night, their pug Henry started barking at the staircase. Then a loud thump came from upstairs. I ran. I still think something followed me home. It's 2025 now. Teresa's back. Someone saw her at a farmer's market in another town. She started a religious group. Calls herself a truth seer. Flyers are popping up. I don't trust her. I think she left something behind in that house. Something evil. In high school, I lived in Michigan. Life was okay. I had some good friends. One of them was Clayton. He was a year younger, and we got along well, at first. My dad even took him and me to a Pistons game once. But when I got busier, working, doing driver's ed, he changed. He got upset if I wasn't free. If I couldn't hang out, he'd accuse me of lying. Once, he just showed up outside my apartment at night. Didn't say anything. Just stood there. Then walked away. I started lying more, just to avoid him. Then I heard something terrifying. A mutual friend, Nick, messaged me. Clayton had held a knife to his ex's throat. He had assaulted her. I blocked him everywhere. That night, while I was home alone, I heard a knock. No one was at the door. I checked my window, and saw him. Clayton, standing right there, holding a knife. I yelled at him to leave. He said he wanted to talk. I told him I was calling the cops. He ran. The police came. I gave them his description. I haven't seen him since. But I believe. No, he would have killed me if I opened that door. It was late 2022. I had a date with a girl named Emily. We both loved horror, so we went to see Smile. The showing was almost empty. Just us, at first. Then, right before the movie started, someone came in. A man. He sat directly behind us. He didn't watch the movie. He watched us. Emily and I noticed immediately. He leaned forward, breathed on me. I spun around and asked him to stop. He just leaned back. We moved to the front. But he kept watching. Then we heard him get up. His footsteps came closer. Then stopped. I didn't look back. I couldn't. Eventually we slipped out. Told the guy at concessions. He looked pale. Again. He said. That man had been coming in for weeks. Never bought tickets. Always sat close to couples. They couldn't ban him unless he broke the law. He didn't follow us that night. But he stood in the theater, just staring as we walked away. I don't go to late shows anymore. Some people don't need permission to enter your life. Some people just arrive, uninvited. And sometimes, they don't leave. Ever. You've just witnessed one of the darkest punishments in history. But many more still lurk in the shadows. So if you dare, subscribe to Torture Vault, where every scream from the past still echoes.